Hi friends, it's Kathy here, and today I've got an art journal I'm glad to share with you. It's working with a lot of these masks and feathers and dancing gals and even a gypsy caravan. Oh, right there. I just absolutely love it. Look at how the curtains are flying out the windows. And a hidden pocket so that we can see what's going on inside the caravan. All of these images are available in the Mystics and Masquerades book. So to start with, I am just going to take out some of these images here of these dancing gals. I want to use those dancing across one of my art journal pages. Love the graphics, the depth of the colors, and just all the movement you can see in these images. Ah, gorgeous. So I'm just removing those from my book and then also picking out some masks. Now in this Mystics and Masquerades book, there's a lot of masks to choose from, and I do take out a few. One of them is this large one with all the pink feathers. Really like that. And I was trying to figure out there, maybe I could tear it out of the book to start with, but no, I wouldn't be able to tear that close. So I'm just doing a rough cut just to get it out of the book, and then it'll be easier to work with my scissors. So just pull that out there, and then I'll speed it up while I do a little bit of cutting. Oh, here you get a peek through the book. Great images. And then I'm going to also cut out this quote that I've chosen for my page. I love quotes. And this book has lots of quotes, and they're all related to the topic of the book. So you have a lot to choose from, no matter how many projects you make using all the images in this Mystics and Masquerades. And just so you know, this book is available worldwide, so no matter where you're watching from, you can get it on Amazon. And it'd be really fun if you would put in the comments below this video where you're from, the city or the country. It'd just be really fun to see who all is watching it, how far this gets shared, and where our crafters are around the world that are interested in art journal page videos for some inspiration. So just tearing up those 4 images, only going to use 2 of them. The other 2 I'll use in a different project, I'm sure, in the future, because there's so many images in this book that I look forward to using. When you flip through the pages, you just can't help but get some ideas of what you can do with it all. So here I'm just doing the finer cutting. Now that I have it out of the book, it's easier to turn and work with. And on an image like this, where it's, the feathers, they've got some fine little feathers. They've got feathers in the background, and some of them are just too intricate to cut. So I just cut them right off. Once they're gone, nobody knows that there's anything missing, and it's going to look great. So you just do cutting to the detail that you enjoy. And at first I thought I would just cut what was going to hang off the page on the left-hand side. But then I changed my mind, because that's how I am when I'm creative. I get new ideas and I just go with it. Just go with creativity as it strikes you. And there I was just seeing how far I would need to cut it in. But then it turns out I decided to cut all the way around. So I'm starting painting with this. It's just black paint. It happens to be Paper Artsy brand called Little Black Dress, but any black paint is going to work. And I'm putting that all down the left edges, right where I am going to put the mask that you saw me cut out, plus a few smaller masks that I have already cut. And I just want this black behind them when they're glued down. And then I do switch over. I only do this for maybe about 3 inches into the page. The rest of it, I switched over to a midnight blue paint from Dina Wakley called Midnight. so that the rest of the page is more of a dark midnight sky. And unfortunately, my camera wasn't recording, but it was just painting, so that's pretty easy to do there. And here we're skipping ahead to a step where I am making the inserts for the pocket. Yes, there's the hidden pocket on this page. That was just kind of fun. So I'm taking the two pieces that I want to have in the pocket, and I'm backing those onto some black cardstock. Because they're in a pocket and going to be pulled in and out and be handled, I just wanted to give them a little bit of strength to make sure that they last through the years and they can take a little bit of handling and abuse. So I just glue those down, adhere them down to some black cardstock, and then trim it to fit. I'm not one to do a lot of measuring. I do more of the eyeballing it, but you could definitely measure and make it as a black mat around the sentiment, or do what I did and pretty much cut it the same size. So I do that with this one with the sentiment, and I also do that with the image so that I've got two pieces to pull in and out of that pocket. The reason I even thought of doing this pocket on an art journal page is because every time I look at that gypsy caravan, I absolutely love it. Look it up there in the right-hand corner or left-hand corner. I love it. The lights are on, the curtains are blowing. Doesn't it just make you want to see what's going on inside there? It just looks mysterious and fun, and it's very intriguing. So I thought, that's what gave me the idea. If I put a pocket behind there, you can pull out of the pocket and it gives you a little insight of what might be going on inside that caravan this evening. So I just took some more of that black cardstock, built a little pocket, and I'm going to glue that down right behind the caravan so that you don't actually see the pocket, but it's definitely there. And you could go without that step and just not glue the whole caravan down so that the image is making a pocket. But two reasons I didn't do that. One is I wanted it really durable. And the other reason was I actually glued this caravan down to my page. And as soon as I laid it down, realized, I got this idea of the pocket. And so I had to pull it back up again. So now I have glue on the back of the caravan and glue on my page. So there was no way I was going to be able to use that as a pocket. It would just be all stuck. So I had to improvise and build this little standalone pocket, which then I adhere to the back of the caravan. I'm just checking here because I don't actually want the pocket to stick up above the caravan picture. So it looks like I've decided there I got to chop one little corner off so that it's remains a hidden pocket. And just figuring out there, make sure I glue it on the right angle so that it does remain hidden. And I do want it right up close to the top of that caravan, so that when you go to insert things, you're not fishing around trying to find the pocket. It's just right there at the very tip. And I just happen to be using this Suquang double-sided tape, super strong. Any kind of glue you're working with is going to work. We all tend to have our favorites for adhesives, right? And I know this looks kind of funny what I'm doing here, just the backing on the tape, it's kind of got little wings there the way I put it down, but that's so that the whole sticky part of the tape is not exposed, just little bits of it are. That way, if I put it down and I've decided, it's crooked or something's wrinkled, then I can still move it. And then once I have it totally in place, I just pull those little strands out and it's all there and will never move again. Very strong stuff. And there I'm just testing to see how deep the pocket is and make sure that my inserts are going to fit. And now we're ready to put that in the book. And you can see where that paint that I have going across the page, where I was telling you that my camera, I didn't realize that I was not recording at the moment. So you can see where the paint goes more like it's a very, very dark blue. And I also just glued down those dancing girls, painted a little bit along the edge. But you'll see how I do the edge painting when I paint along the edge of this caravan as well. And you can kind of see the smudge of the original glue on my page there. So I'm trying to get it back down to the exact same spot so that all of that is covered up. And you know, that kind of stuff, I could edit it out so you guys, you know, think that I have a perfect plan and everything always works. But this is reality. This is the process of creating is, you know, your creativity flows and you get new ideas as it goes along. And I would encourage you just go with the creativity. Go with your new ideas. Try things out. Even if it means you got to pull it off the page and do something else. So there we go. A pocket is fully hidden behind that caravan. One more test just to make sure these things are going to work and go into the pockets. And I'm happy with how that worked out. Because who doesn't like a little secret compartment and to be able to pull something out and see what's there? And then I'm going to take some of the midnight paint. Looks like black, but it's actually a very, very dark blue. And just go around the edges of the paper so that I no longer have that sharp edge where the paper meets the page. I'm just a little bit camouflaging the fact that that's a piece of paper glued down there. And I want it to become more melded into the page, so that it really looks like it belongs there. And I've come across, I see a couple of wrinkles. Because of the pocket being behind it, it's not laying down 100% flat. So I do tend to get a little bit of wrinkles and I just press those out. That works pretty good as long as you get it while the glue is still kind of wet. And then I'm going to do some stenciling for a couple of reasons. One is just to add some more design on the page, to have fun with my page. And it also helps to camouflage the fact that the images are a layer that's been glued down. So I often do a stenciling that goes from the background right over top of portions of the image. So it just kind of ties it all in. I like that effect. And I'm going through it with a sponge. And you'll notice I do have quite a bit of paint over to the side, but I really put a very thin coat of paint when I'm going through a stencil. And then I do dry it between stenciling, just because I don't want to set my stencil down in that wet paint and then I'll have a mess. So I do take the time every time I lift my stencil to dry the paint that's on the page. And just, you know, a reminder here that your stencil doesn't have to be all on the page. You can do just parts of your stencil. I like things to be hanging off the page. To me, it just helps it look a little bit more interesting. And this is actually a turquoise sparkly paint that I'm putting through here, but it's very translucent. It's really the color of the turquoise that you see in the dancers' dresses. So it works well with the page. On camera, it hardly looks like it's even there, but it is actually a turquoise and it's got some sparkle and shine to it. And becomes part of the background. So if you don't get perfect images with your stencils, that's fine too. And there I've even gone over a little bit of the caravan roof. It just helps to hide the fact that that was a separate sheet of an image that was glued down. And do a little bit over the dancing girls too. And I did the same thing with them. I glued them down, then put a little black paint just over the edges so that it's not quite as obvious where the image ends and the book page starts. And then doing some stenciling, just overlapping it a tiny bit, helps to camouflage that as well. And then even in the middle of the page, I want to do a little bit of stenciling, but the stencil is really large and I don't want to cover up my images, so I really like those images. But that's where you'll see I just use a portion of the stencil. So I get lots of use out of my stencils. I love stencils and I use them a lot. And you can see I'm not real fussy about always cleaning them very well. But I do get a lot of use out of them. And then I'm deciding where my masks go to see, do I need to put some more stenciling on or not really? So I'm just doing a rough layout there so I get an idea how it's all going to fit. And I think that worked out pretty good. So then, because they're overlapping, I'm obviously going to start by gluing down the one that's in the background the first. And then one below it will, I believe I put it so that they are overlapping slightly. So just kind of deciding where that's going to go before I put the glue on. And I put them down onto, when I'm using a glue stick, I put them down onto this, just a piece of paper towel there, so that when my glue stick goes right over the edges of them, I can just throw away the paper towel and it'll be all sticky and I can just get rid of it. I don't have any glue to clean up off of anything. I know some people use the insides of old magazines and then you can just turn the page, stick them together and use the next page. So flyers and magazines are great for that too. But, you know, use whatever's on your craft desk. And today it happened to be some paper towel with some already paint on it. Just love that feathery mask. And they're fun to decorate too. You'll see at the end that I do put some Nouveau Drop pearls on them. So you can do your own decorating, put some glitter on them. You could even add some real feathers onto your page. I think that would be a great idea and add a little bit of texture in there too. And then we're down to gluing down our last mask for this page. And then I'm going to do some cutting. So here I'm just putting a cutting mat behind my page so I don't cut the page below it. And my idea here was to have, I like a cut edge page, just add some interest. And by taking away a portion of the page there, you'll be able to see what's on the previous page. And in this case, there's nothing there. Not yet, but you know, at some point I will put another layout behind it. And it'll be something that works with masks. This Mystics and Masquerades book is full of great images. So I'm sure that I'll be doing several more projects with that line. And one of them will go behind these masks. Oh, and there my knife falls apart. You know, things happen to all of us. As a crafter, you just put it back together and keep going. So on here, because some of the feathers are really fine, and I don't want my page to have really fine points, thin pieces on it. My concern is that they'll get damaged. So I'm actually cutting this page slightly larger than the feathers. So they've got a little bit of the black border all the way around them. And the pages, this is the Dina Wakley's art journal, so it's got the mixed media paper in it, and that's pretty strong. It's got some good strength to it, so it should hold up pretty good. And it also saves me from cutting around every single detail of the fine feathers. So you can see there really well where I'm just leaving a border. Excuse me. And you can see where it's starting to come to life there, where you can see the cutaway edge of the page. This is really fun to have cut edges. It just adds some interest in your journals. On a page like this, it might be fun to, at some point, even cut out those eye holes from the mask. So depending what I put on the following page, if that works out, I could later go in and cut out the eye holes as well. Just so you've got more ways to peek through and see what's on the other page. And our last little bit to cut there, and then the edge is done. So I'm liking how that came out. Add something a little bit interesting and a little unexpected when you turn the page in your art journal. And I'm just deciding what I'm going to do next. So then I've decided to make it more of a night sky. I will add some stars in, and I'm using Stickles. Stickles is a glue that's got colored glitter in it. So I'm using yellow for some stars, and I've never used Stickles in this method before, but you know what? I thought it's going to give me the effect I want. So, you just try your supplies. Not always the way they're intended, but if it's going to work, great. More use out of your supplies. So I just squeezed some out once I get the bottle going. Had some issues with that one, clogged up. I think I may have even cut the tip off the bottle just to get it to work. But I squeezed some of the stickles out onto the back of my palette knife, just a little bit. So that I can control it well and just put the stickles through the stencil for one star at a time. So I didn't want the whole stencil on there. That would be a little bit overpowering for stars. But with just a little bit of stickles on there, I can really control and just do one star at a time. And then the trick is to don't set your stencil down on the wet stickles as you're moving it around your page. Stickles does take a while to dry. So that's one of the last things I do in a project. You can see right there, it'd be pretty easy to put my hand in it. Got my sleeves all rolled up because I'm into the serious work now. I did not want one of my sleeves to get into my wet stickles and make a smudge. These, when you get down to the finishing touches on an art journal there, I really enjoy it because you get to have the fun of looking at your page and yet you're still working on it. And it's one of the funnest parts is just those finishing touches that bring it to life. In this case, it sparkles. And you can see there where I wiped some off. So I had started putting it through the stencil, then moved the stencil. And so rather than have a big mess there, I was able to just wipe it off while it's wet and put another star in its place. And the tricky part with this is how many do you do before it's too many? And I think we're getting pretty close to that point where it's probably enough. Oh, apparently I've decided I need some more stars. So here goes for one or two more. Oh yeah, we needed that one. And another one over here. Yeah, it's hard to know when to stop. Because glitter and sparkle is fun, right? Some people say your project isn't done until you got glitter on it. I'm not quite that dedicated to glitter, but I do like some sparkle. And for the stars, I think that worked out all right. But I would suggest if you're using something like stickles, because it's glue, if you're putting that through your stencils, you need to clean your stencils right away. And then here we are done. I have added some pearls I'm just showing you to decorate the masks. Some little pearls random in the sky. I added some stickles in lines there on the mask and on her skirt. You can see where I added the stickles. And here's the cards where you can see we've got a tarot reader and a quote about it, of what's going on in the caravan there. And all of these images come from Mystics and Masquerades.